As per New York Times, OpenAI rejected the $97.4 billion bid by Elon Musk to buy out OpenAI. And now Elon Musk is back with his latest large language model, xAI or Grok AI. This cutting-edge language model features state-of-the-art reasoning capabilities in chat, coding, and problem solving. It outperforms models like Cloud 3.5, Sonnet, and GPT-4 on the LM-SYS leaderboard, showcasing advanced capabilities in both text and vision understanding. Now let's talk about the pricing. xAI's Grok 2 latest is costing around $2 for 1 million input tokens, as compared to GPT-4o that costs around $2.5 for 1 million input tokens. So pricing point of view, Grok 2 latest is almost very similar to GPT-4o, in fact cheaper than that. But when you compare it with GPT-4o mini, Grok 2 is a bit on the expensive side. But we cannot compare Grok 2 with GPT-4o mini because both are completely different with the way they have trained on. So a right comparison will be between GPT-4o with Grok 2, and I can surely say that Grok 2 wins on multiple aspects like pricing, latency, model outputs, and many more. Welcome to this video. My name is Satyajit Pattnaik, and in this video we are going to do an end-to-end generative AI project using Grok APIs. Just a disclaimer, in order to accomplish this project, in order to run this project, you will have to do some sort of investment. So please do a $2 to $5 investment. Try to buy out a Grok AI API keys, and I'm sure this project will be worth it. Before we get started, which LLM is your first preference in building or working on a generative AI project? Let me know in the comment section. Apart from that, you will also get a Google form link in the description. Just fill it out. 2 lucky winners are going to get $10 worth of Grok AI API keys. Let's get started with the project. In case you have any other specific needs, you know what to do. Comment down and we will be getting back to you. See you in the video. I'm sure you will be enjoying it. If you enjoy this, please like, share and subscribe to the channel, and pass this video to as much people as you want to. Spread the word. Hi, welcome to this end-to-end generative AI project. In this video, we shall be focusing on creating a RAG-based chatbot, retrieval augmented generation based chatbot, using some sort of sustainability documents. Now, let's try to understand the problem statement, and then I will try to help you out on how are we going to take our step to solve this. First of all, the problem statement is real. This idea is coming from a real project. In my current company where I'm working in Hong Kong in a company called as Palo IT, which is a consulting firm, and we work with multiple clients from retail industry, from various industries, from telecom industry, from banking industry, from electric industry, and we have couple of companies from sustainability industry as well. Now, the problem statement that the company had come up with is, we have a lot of documents. So we have, so the problem statement is, let me try to explain. We have tons of sustainability documents in PDF, in doc format, and going through those documents to get a proper answer takes a lot of time. That was the use case, very simple use case, and this use case is more than enough for you to get started with generative AI. Okay, and so the client has this kind of problem, and he wanted to create a sustainability chatbot that basically reads through hundreds and hundreds of PDF documents. Okay, I'll show you some of his documents. So let's say this is one of the document. I mean, honestly, I have zero idea about this, related to some European Parliament or something, but this is a sustainability related document they have provided. Similar to this, they have provided 100 or 120 different PDFs. Well, as part of this particular project, I will not be able to share all of these PDFs. I will be creating this project using 2 PDF, and whether you do a project on 2 PDF or 20 or 200, I think the code and the concept remains the same, right? So we will be leveraging these two PDF documents and creating a RAG-based chatbot. As simple as that. For this exercise, we will be using Grok API. Now, what is Grok? For those who don't know, Grok is a company. So if you go to xAI, Grok is a company by Elon Musk, and it has been recently launched, like few months back. It came into picture as a fighting spirit with OpenAI. Elon Musk has recently launched Grok. So they have multiple models like image based models and text based models, the way we have multiple OpenAI models like GPT 3.5, 4 mini and multiple others. Similarly, Grok also has multiple APIs. If you scroll through, you will be able to understand a little bit more about Grok. They are also coming up with a lot of concepts like Super Grok and all those things. So if you go to APIs, so they have currently multiple APIs. They have textual APIs, they have vision APIs, and they have various other APIs. We will be using this particular thing, which is a textual API. Okay. And using this, we will be creating this project. And the requirement of Grok was coming from the client, right? When you are actually working on a real-time project, your project could be leveraging a open source model, it could be leveraging a API. You cannot really help, right? And this project was based on Grok because that was a customer's requirement. So I'm directly replicating that project for all of you so that you can also enjoy this. Now, there is one problem if we get started with Grok. The problem is it does not come for free. So if you want to practice this project, then you need to do some investment. The minimum investment that you can do is, so I have bought a Grok API for around $5. I think the lowest that you can do is around $2 or $1. You can explore that. Honestly speaking, I don't know what the minimum range is, but definitely $5 can be bought, because I myself have bought $5 for showcasing this project to you guys. So how to buy API keys? It's very simple. You just go to billing and you have to go to the credits page. So here, I think they provide some sort of free credits or not, I'm not pretty sure, but I directly went into the prepaid credits and I bought it. And trust me, I have already run like several times and my bill has just gone for $0.02. And talking about the pricing, before we move ahead with the project, the pricing is even less than GPT-4o. If you go ahead and compare, GPT-4o has around, of course we need to check the page to get the final answer, but as I remember, because I'm using GPT quite a lot for my personal work and for my official work and personal work, I think GPT-4o, the price is around $2.5 for 1 million of input tokens and $10 for 1 million of output tokens, whereas Grok is standing at $2 per 1 million of input tokens and $10 of 1 million of output tokens. So Grok is cheaper than GPT-4o. I mean, I'm talking about Grok 2. Okay. But if you compare it with GPT-4o mini, GPT-4o mini is like way cheaper. Like I think $0.125 per 1 million or something, and $0.625 for 1 million output. So comparing with GPT-4o mini, of course, GPT-4o mini is way less expensive. But if you compare with GPT-4o, Grok is better. And I have tested Grok on multiple use cases. It's way faster and it is way more relevant. It gives you better answers as compared to OpenAI. And that's my personal experience, though you can always explore and come to a conclusion, right? So moving back to our Miro board, sorry, we were already on the Miro board, my bad. So we will be using Grok API, right? And buying a Grok API is not that difficult. Just do a simple investment for this project and you can easily run this project. And make sure you don't provide this key anywhere. Please try to mock it up before sending your codes to your friends, because the key will be misutilized, right? And even on GitHub, do not upload codes on GitHub directly, because those API keys will be revoked. So talking about the architecture diagram, architecture diagram is very much similar to what we have already discussed in the past, like a general RAG based chatbot. So we will be getting hundreds of sustainability PDFs, right? And they will be chunked down. Then they will be converted into word vectors or word embeddings. So we will be using some sort of embeddings here, and then you will be having this embeddings somewhere. Let's say you want to store these embeddings in a vector database or somewhere, right? And then imagine we will be creating a front end, and this is how the front end will look like. Beautiful. So if you go to this chatbot, you will be able to open this file. Sorry, this is the landing page. So you'll be able to open this particular file and you can ask some question here. And on the left hand side, you will be able to see that particular document from which you are able to get the most relevant answer from, right? So if I draw the architecture diagram, so let's say this is your front end and your user is sitting here. User is asking a question. Let's say whatever the question is, question is also being vectorized. Then you are referring from, not here, my bad, vectorized, these are also something like this. Then you are referring to the vector database. Then you are getting the question plus relevant passage. And this is where you are calling the Grok API. And Grok API is responding you back with doing a chat completion, right? This is how the flow is. For this exercise, as we are dealing with a local project, we are not going to use a vector database. We will be using a vector index, which is similar to vector database but sits on a local machine, right? And everything else remains the same, right? So architecture diagram is clear. Grok API you should already have by now if you want to move ahead and implement from scratch along with me. In the future, if you want to change it to a OpenAI API, it's very easy, just one line of code change. And if you also want to change it to like a physical model, let's say 𝐓𝐢𝐬𝐿ama, tiny llama, or like a other Mistral kind of model, then also it's not huge change. We will try to pick this up as part of the next project, but yeah, for this project we will stick to Grok and OpenAI. Okay, so let's move on. The very first step is we are going to show you the simple Jupyter notebook representation on how the codes has to be written down. Codes are already pre-written, because if I start writing down from scratch, potentially this length of the video will be huge, right? So we have already written down the codes. We will be going through it, and then once the codes are done, then we will move into the Flask application part. And once the Flask application is done, then we will try and see whether we can deploy it on AWS or not, because AWS EC2 instance deployments are already being taught to you, so probably will not do that part. So I will just try to have a physical Flask based model and show you how it works, and you can take it as a task to deploy it on EC2 instance. Trust me, EC2 instance deployment is like Really easy. For me, it's like a 5 minutes work. Really easy, but I do not want to replicate that again and again in each and every project. So it's better you do it. So let's move on to our Google Colab notebook. Okay, let's get started with the notebook part. So all the libraries are imported. Now let's try to go through all of these codes. Okay, so we have created multiple functions. As you can see, one of them is for loading all the documents, one of them is for getting the vector store, building LLM chain. So we'll go through each of these. We'll try to explain you line by line what each of these means, and trust me, it's not going to be very difficult to understand. So the very first thing is loading all documents. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of back and forth between my architecture diagram and my code so that we will be able to understand. So loading all the documents is basically this part where we are actually taking all our input PDF documents. So what we are doing is we are basically loading all the PDF documents using this library called as PDF plumber loader, right? So now there are multiple ways of loading PDF documents. So for this exercise, we are using a PDF plumber loader. But if you go ahead and check out LangChain community document loaders, there will be other type of loaders as well. Now, depending on the type of document that you are dealing with, if you only have PDFs, you use a PDF plumber loader or something else. There are also other type of PDF parsers and PDF loaders. But apart from that, if your document type is also different, you can also use a different type. So if you are dealing with multiple types of documents, here you need to have multiple if else clauses. So if it's a PDF type, use this. If it's a document type, use that, right? So based on your requirement, you can always copy this code in your ChatGPT and ask what needs to be done, how to tweak it. ChatGPT will be able to generate you. The second method is get vector store. Now get vector store is basically what's happening is it is either loading an existing FAISS. Now what is FAISS? FAISS is nothing but Facebook AI similarity search. So in your retrieval part, this part, you're basically going to the vector database and trying to fetch this part, right? So this is this part. But in order to, so fetching is the secondary part, fine. But when your data sets are introduced for the very first time, you have to create your vector database, right? But in this case, we are using a vector index. So if you go ahead, you will see that your vector index is created in this folder, which is FAISS_index. Now this you can see it's created on 19th of March, today is 23rd, so it's an older one. But if you change something in your static folder, in this particular upload folder, you will be able to generate new indexes. Okay, as we are using the same documents, it is not recreating it, as simple as that. So in this piece of code, it is just getting the vector index. So it is splitting the document into chunks using the semantic chunker, this part. And then using the text splitter, it is splitting the documents and then it is saving the vector index. That's it. Created and save new vector store. Simple. Till now, this is done, and this is also done. This part is also done, right? Then comes building the large language model chain. Now this is where you need to define your prompt. Remember, when you deal with ChatGPT or you deal with any other platform like ChatGPT, when you're asking something, you always tell the persona, right? Behave as an expert in this industry or in this part and try to answer me, right? So this is what we are doing here. We are actually telling that this is my prompt. Use the following piece of context to answer the question at the end. If you don't know the answer, just say I don't know and keep the answer crisp and limited to 3 to 4 sentences. If in case your output needs to be in a specific language, let's say Hindi, you can always add a line. Make sure you always answer in Hindi or French or Spanish, depending on what you need. Okay, so this is the prompt template that you can tweak. And once your prompt is ready, you just have to, here we are creating the prompt template, calling the LLM chain, and then passing my template. That's it. And here, build combined documents chain, I'm just creating a stuff documents chain here, and I'm calling my LLM chain, and that's it. It's very simple piece of code. My input variables are page content and source. Okay, so let me run all. Okay, I'll run it later. Let me just go through all of these methods. And then we have a build QA chain where so this is the retrieval part, this part, retrieval part. Okay, so what's happening here is you are actually going to this combined documents chain, which is this part. One second, combines document chain, retrieval QA, combines document chain, combines document chain, build QA chain. So where is this called? Build QA chain is called here. Okay, let me talk about initialize chain and you will understand. So let's say this is just a function where you are doing the retrieval part. Now this is the most important function that we have written down, which is initializing your chain, and this has calls to all of these functions. This is the most important part. Okay, so let me run all of this code. They are pre-run. I had already ran this even before I started recording this video. Okay, the thing is, my bad. Okay, let me rerun everything. Run. Okay, I ran everything. Here the loading part is happening, but there is a problem. The problem is I have not passed my Grok API key. So what I'll do is I'll try to use my key, because I cannot do it on the go in this call, because I don't want to show my API keys to you. So give me 1 second. I'll try to add my API key, run this piece of code, and then again come back. So all of my changes are done. My API keys has been, I have already tweaked it. I already ran this piece of code, and you can see everything is done, right? So let us go through this particular method, which is the most important method. What is this method doing? Initialize chain. So you can see the description is already mentioned. Here it is first loading the PDF documents from static uploads folder, which is this folder. Let's say I'll go back to my project folder. So let's say we are here, right? And this is my notebook, right? So it's going to the static uploads folder and it is retrieving all the PDF documents. And if you add a new document here, for example, the third document or the fourth document, then the indexes will be recreated. That means indexes which are present here, xAI indexes, will be recreated. If not, the indexes will not be recreated, right? And then you can see creating or loading a xAI vector store and then building the LLM and associated chains. So line by line, the first step is loading all the documents, then creating your, getting the vector store, using the vector as retriever. This is the part where you are applying your API key. In your case, you have to apply yours. Grok to latest is the latest textual API that is available. You can always check that in the documentation of X. Grok 3 is coming up very soon. Temperature, max tokens, timeout, max retries. These are non-mandatory features. If you want to add it, you can add it. If you don't want to, you can remove it. No problem. By default, it will use the default functionalities. Now, the last 3 lines, which is this part, which is building your LLM chain. and then calling the build combined documents and build QA chain. What are these three? If you go to this build LLM chain, let's go to build LLM chain. So build LLM chain, what's happening here is you're actually creating the large language model chain using a prompt template. Here you are creating the chain. Your LLM chain is being created, right? So you can also consider this way that the build LLM chain function basically wraps the LLM in a way that it allows it to process inputs and generate outputs, right? So this chain will handle the interaction with the model, processing queries and generating responses based on the input it receives. Understood? Moving on to the next part, which is the build combined documents chain. What is that? Build combines document chain. Now this basically, it's kind of an integration layer. It integrates the capabilities of large language model or the large language chain with the ability to process and retrieve information from multiple documents. As we are using multiple documents, we have written down this particular function. And the last part is nothing but building the QA chain. What exactly is this? It's nothing but the retrieval part. Everything is done. The LLM chain is done. You can imagine that the model is already built. Your input has already gone. It already has an connection with the vector data. Now comes the retrieval part. Here you are actually doing the calling the retriever. Okay, so that's it, and then you are returning the QA chain, and you can see my QA chain is nothing but I have called the initialize chain. Now how do we test something? Now let's try to open one of these documents and try to frame a question so that we can ask something, and we'll try to validate whether our model is working fine or not. So let's say let's say we'll try to take a question. Okay, let's say minimizing the impact of packaging and packaging waste. Page number, whatever it is, page number 2 from this particular document, right? So what I'm going to do is, let's say I'm taking a sample question is equals to, let me just make it 150 so that it is visible to you all. How to minimize the impact of packaging. Done. So let's say I'm going to call the get response method. Get response has two things, which is QA chain and question. So I'm going to pass QA chain and question. What is my QA chain? My QA chain is QA chain. What is my question? Question is sample question. Now get response has two returns, which is answer and PDF URL, right? Okay, now why are we getting the PDF URL? The PDF URL we are getting because we need to show this PDF document here. If you don't want to show this, then there is no need of that. So as we want to show, so let me try to have two variables, answer and PDF URL is equals to get response. Done. And you can see we already have an answer, a helpful answer. Okay, so let's try to print it. Print the question, sample question, print the answer, print the PDF URL. Okay, my bad. Okay, to minimize the impact of packaging, consider the following strategies. Use minimal packaging materials and opt for bulk packaging. These steps can significantly lower the ecological footprint of packages. It has actually not taken my PDF document. Somehow it has taken my older one. Okay, 1 second, let me see where could be the problem. Hmm. One second, one second. PDF URL. PDF URL. PDF URL. Why is it taking the USA document? The USA document is not even existing. Okay, let's try to rerun everything. What I'll do is I'll try to restart the kernel and rerun everything, and then I'll show you how it looks like. So one thing I want to do here is quickly, don't want to show it on the screen. Okay, my API keys are changed. So oh, maybe it's the wrong folder. Oh, I think it's the wrong folder that I'm looking at. No problem. Here, if I go to my static and uploads, yeah, I still have these 4 documents. And if I go to my FAISS index, it is created 5 days ago. Okay, let's try to see. Okay, yeah, it has already fetched everything, but it is still fetching the wrong PDF URL. Maybe it could be because of cache. See the date, however, without specific content from the document, these suggestions are based on general best practices rather than information directly from the provided source. So something is wrong. Maybe, okay, let's try to do one thing. Let's try to, first of all, let's try to check whether 714, that means we have opened this folder, right? No problem. This folder and that folder is a replica, so should not be a big problem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this FAISS index, and then I'm going to rerun everything. So run all cells, restart and run all cells. Let's try to do this so that my indexes should be created again, because something is wrong, because the USA file that I'm seeing right now is part of my previous hit and trial. Before recording this video, I was trying out with some different set of PDFs, and somehow that PDF is shown here. But you can see when it is loading from the right location. But I think this fetching part is wrong. That means it is referring to the wrong vector index. I'm pretty much sure. So that is the problem. I think we should be able to solve it right now. Let's wait for a couple of minutes and then we will be able to show you the output. Anyways, what we can do is we will try to show you the whole code. Nothing has changed actually, except the API key that I have passed. In case my API key is publicly shown, I will try to revoke the access so that I don't have to pay bill for that. Yeah, this part is done. Loading is done. So my code is running, and then I will just quickly run this piece of code. Sample question and answer, and here you go. It should take, yeah, now you can see, right? It is able to give me an answer, and it is exactly from this particular location. If you can see that to minimize the impact of packaging, it should be designed, produced, and commercialized. It is taking from this file, packaging and packaging waste, page number 10. Oh, this is page number 2. Let's try to go to page number 10 and see from where it is exactly taking. Oh, yeah, this is where it is taking. You can see it's all about packaging, right? And exactly that was the question. So this is it. So and this is a real-time problem that we have encountered in today's video walkthrough, right? What had happened was, sorry, what had happened was, okay, I'll go to this folder, right? So you can see 𝐓𝐢𝐬𝐴𝐶 indexes was already there, right? And somehow I had replaced the static files here, but the 𝐓𝐢𝐴𝐶s was still referring to the older 𝐓𝐢𝐴𝐶s. That's why I had to delete this particular folder. So remember that tomorrow, if you are running this piece of code on your own documents, make sure you place your documents here and then delete this folder. Okay, and then give some time and your 𝐓𝐢𝐴𝐶s indexes will be created again, and then you will be able to use it. In case you are testing this notebook or testing this on the exactly same documents that I'm providing, then there is no need of deleting any kind of indexes. You can reuse it and it will be super fast. You can see the inferencing time of asking a single question is very low. If I just quickly ask this again, okay, I'm just running this again, and then if you want I can run a timer, or else let's say we can print some time or something, but anyways I think we can calculate in hands, right? And you can see answer 1 2, and not even 2 seconds it has already got me the answer, right? That's why I told you Grok APIs are super fast as compared to OpenAI. Now the next part will be moving into the next one, which is going to be the Flask application. So let's directly jump into Flask application. So the Flask application codes are already pre-written, as I told you in the beginning, but I'm going to move into this folder, okay, Grok RAG. See, Grok RAG and OpenAI RAG are replica. It's not, they both are same. The reason I have created two different folders was initially I thought I will be doing two different videos, but then I thought both the videos will have the same information, right? It's just one line of code change. So let me do it together. So this one is the Grok part, Flask application. Let's try to explain. So code wise, it's very similar to what we have done here, right? I'll also show you line by line. See, all of these are your libraries that we have taken directly. This part is basically your this part, loading your documents part, right? Creating your indexes part is basically your this part, right? Semantic chunker and all those things same. And then comes your retriever part, vector retriever, which is where did it go? Vector retriever. A vector retriever is here, right? Retriever part. And here you are actually defining the prompt which you have defined here. See, that's what I told you. This code has been copied from here to there. That's it. I'll directly jump into the Flask URL binding that we have used. The first URL binding is /. That means whenever your Flask application is turned on, you will be able to open or render landing.html, which is this file. Okay, simple. And then if you go to chat, /chat, what is /chat? It is this button, go to chatbot. Now if you want, you can also check this part, landing.html, go to chatbot. So you can see go to chatbot is this part, and the code is here, and you can see URL for chat. It's basically going to /chat. And when you go to /chat, you are rendering chat.html, and this is where your chat.html will be rendered. Simple. And here you are having a form where you are getting the question, whatever question you are asking, and then based on the question you are calling and getting the response. Okay, so if you go to get response here, you are taking a question, you are calling the keyword retrieval and all those things and getting the answer. On top of the answer, you are also getting the PDF URL, right? That's it. If you want to run it as a debug equals to true, you can run this. Now let's try to run this piece of code. So I'll try to open Anaconda prompt. I will copy this folder and then I will run python app.py. It should not take a lot of time, as my system is already running OBS, which is taking a lot of memory and CPU. Maybe because of that it could take some time. You can see OBS is running, right? And that is one of the reasons why it is taking a lot of memory, but I think it should be able to do it. Let's wait for a couple of seconds. In the meanwhile, okay, no, let's complete it and then we will jump into how do we change the code to OpenAI. And of course, in the follow-up videos, we will also have a physical model based RAG chatbot so that you can also practice on Hugging Face models rather than paying for all these API costs. But honestly speaking, in industries, you should be aware of both the part, how to use APIs, how to use physical models, and so on. So because I'm talking about reality in current company where I'm working with, I'm getting multiple clients with different requests. So it's basically not in your hands to choose LLMs or go for OpenAI or not. It's the client who wants to tell. Because when you use physical models, they also have their own cost, right? Storage cost and all those things. And companies, most of the companies, they don't want to take that risk to have a higher storage cost. They are okay to pay OpenAI, they are okay to compromise on the data privacy part, but they don't want to take that risk of having high storage. But again, it depends from client to client. So my application is running, but it's not loading. Let me close all of this. Let me close this. Oh, there is some reasons because of which it has restarted. So give couple of more seconds, so it should be able to open. I just stopped it, so let me just restart it. So yeah, it has picked up. Actually, I had to close my spider and all those things because the memory and CPU utilization was higher. Finally, we have the Flask application. I'll just go to the internet and try to run this. Yes, and we have the application ready. Right. The first thing that I'm going to do is go to Chatbot. Here, if I click, it will be redirected to /chat, and you can see beautiful chat is ready. Now, I'll try to ask one question. Let's say requirement specifics to manufacturing and composition. What are the requirements to the manufacturing and composition of packaging? Can you explain? And I am hopeful that it will be able to get me this portion, and from 10th page, let's see, and it is able to do the same thing, right? See here, there are some formatting issues, as you can see. because the response that we're getting needs to be formatted on front end, right? And I'm not good at front end, trust me. So you have to figure this out by yourself. Just try to take help of ChatGPT in case you want. Let me ask few more questions. But I don't have the domain knowledge to ask. Maybe I'll pick this one. What is the concentration levels of heavy metals? Okay, let's ask this. It should be able to get something from page 6. Wow, so it's working really good. Now this is your end-to-end RAG chatbot based on sustainability documents using Grok APIs. Now coming on to the final part, which is how do we convert this into an OpenAI application, or how do we change the LLMs? It's very simple. I can potentially open Spider Notebook or VS Code to explain you. It's a simple one-line code change. That's it. And again, similarly, if you change this to a physical model like a Hugging Face model or simply a Olama model, then also hardly few lines of code, not exactly one line but few lines. The first thing that we're going to do is sorry, not this one. You have to change this chat xAI. You can see wherever this chat xAI is being called. Oh, I just showed you this thing, my bad. So you have to go here, right? Instead of chat xAI, you have to use OpenAI. So what you need to do is from LangChain OpenAI import OpenAI. That's it. So comment this out and use this. You have to install this, so make sure you add it in your requirements.txt, right? And then instead of chat xAI, just change it to OpenAI, and here change it to the model that you're going to use. Let's say 3.5 turbo. Sorry, okay, turbo, right? And then all of these are not needed, so just remove this and that's it. So you can test it out. I'm pretty much sure it will run very fine. Now one last thing that I want to show you as well is nothing but how do we tweak templates. Okay, our application is already running, so let me just close it and I will show you how to tweak templates. So I'm in this Grok rag folder and I have my landing page opened, right? So I'll go to this spider and I'll go to this landing page. So let's say first of all you want to change this logo, right? This logo is used here, this part. This is this logo. Let's say you want to change it to something else. Let's say I want to use my company's logo. Oh, SAP Analytics. Let's say this one. Now I'm going to do right click, open image. Oh, such a big link. Anyways, and now if I just refresh this, da-da-da, we have the new changes. Now instead of green, I want to change it to blue, right? Very simple. First of all, somewhere, yeah, you can see all of this background green. You can just simply green with blue. Or else if you want to change it to a specific color coming from logo, first of all you have to extract this color. So just go to a image, what do you say, that hashtag picker, right? Hex code picker, hex code finder, and then you have to find the exact hex code. You can upload your image if you want to, and then based on that you can find the hex code and then use ChatGPT. I think it will be easier for you. And now let's say I'll just show you these quick changes. I'm just accepting everything, replace all, save it, and then I will refresh this. Done. Easy. And if you want to change this text to something else, let's say you want to name it to your own chatbot, my chatbot. So these are the ways you can tweak these HTML templates that I am already giving as part of this project. But in case you want to do your own fascinating thing, you always can take help of ChatGPT, can do this. That brings to an end to this particular project. Next project, I will be doing the same exact project using a physical model, maybe a Olama model or a Hugging Face model, but the concept and the project business requirement will be same. See you in the next video.